Right, we're on Pat Wilks' veranda. Got a magnificent view looking over
Might not be
Watchet.
at the seaside, you can't see the sea.
It is. There's our famous lighthouse. It's been rain, so it's not a particularly nice day, and you can't barely see the sea behind the lighthouse, but you can see over most of Watchet from here. Yeah, sadly from my point of view, the railway's hidden down underneath, so you can probably hear them nicely here, but you won't see any trains. Pat's busy doing some redirecting of mail. This is the first time we've been here. I had to make inquiries as to how to find this particular apartment. Right, let's go in and see what we can get Pat to do. We're around to Pat's flat now, and she's going to read us some of her favourite poetry.
Well, I don't know if that's my favourites.
Well, we've heard you on and off in different locations, and always on the Esplanade, you're drowned out by the noises. And we thought, well, wouldn't it be lovely to get you in your flat and give us a nice reading as you prefer?
Yeah, I'll try.
Good.
If it's dreadful, you have to tell me.
Well, I don't think so, because you've got such a reputation locally.
Oh dear.
Well, you've always been involved.
Stephen hears or sees most of what you do.
Oh, good.
In Thailand.
Oh, well, hello, Stephen. Hope you enjoy this.
Tells me he rings up and says, "Oh, saw Rachel the other day," and it's always. I think it's things you do, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he puts a lot of stuff on YouTube.
Well, this will be going there eventually.
So where do you want me to start?
Well, we were just thinking you were here in the 50s as well, weren't you?
I was here in 54 to 67.
Oh, a long time.
We were in Minehead before that for a couple of years, but I don't like Minehead very much.
That's where your second daughter was born, wasn't it, in Minehead?
Yes, Catherine was born there.
Yeah. And Rachel was born where?
In the hospital.
She was born there as well?
Rachel was born in 1950 when we lived in Calne in Wilks.
Yes.
She was born at home?
Yes.
Yeah. I've just been really swatting up on your book.
Stephen was born at home to dear Sasha.
Should we show the book?
Yeah, because she's actually had such an interesting life and done so many things.
Perhaps you can
I've got my
sign it
copies
for
all
me.
torn about now.
Right.
I got down to
With a
none
cups
at all, and then somebody found me one.
All right. That's good, isn't it? Because what were you going to call it originally? She does go on a bit or something like that one.
Rachel said, I'm
not going to do all that typing.
Well, I do go on a bit, don't I?
Well, no, it's always very interesting. That's why I wanted to come in
Very interesting.
and take this film today, really, because everybody talks positively about you and what you've been doing and for the years.
I always loved Watchet.
Yeah.
And when as soon as we came here, I thought, no, new friends, how am I going to manage, you know? But, well, you don't have to worry and watch it. They sort of arrive, don't they?
Yes, yeah. Because you've been involved with the Baptist Church and the Methodist over the years?
I was on the church council up at St Dex.
Oh, were you? Oh, that's the Church of England, yeah?
But I go to chapel now when I go. I haven't been for weeks.
No.
Was your husband an organist? Was he an organist?
Yeah, he did play the organ, but not here. When we went up to Hereford, he played for 15 years there. I played the organ a bit.
Oh, right.
When I say I play the piano, but I can't play the organ.
No, it's a bit more harder, isn't it, I think?
And so the vicar said, we haven't got anyone to play. So I said, well, I can do the hymns as long as you don't choose anything difficult. And then I said, when my husband retires, he'll be better than me. So.
And he was in banking most of his life, wasn't he?
And he was in the bank.
Yeah.
Down where Baldy is now.
Oh, yes, the hairdressers. Gosh. What was that? Nat West, or who were they in those?
That was the Midland.
Midland, right.
And then there was Mr Norris at the one at the top.
Right.
Opposite the council.
Which is now a B&B, yeah.
I think that was, I'm not sure which one it was. I think it was Lloyd's on the front.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. Mr. Baker was there.
Right.
She was the assistant commandant of the Red Cross when I joined it.
Oh, yes.
Josie
See how you've been involved with all these wonderful, good deeds organisations.
It was getting a few friends. Really.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah,
help a
you
lot of
join-
people on the
yeah,
I
way.
still go down the.
You have to join things to meet people, don't you?
Yeah.
Really?
You do, because
Yeah.
I mean, when you get to my age, you don't get out much. You
Which is 90.
don't make yourself. You know what I mean?
I was down in the mineral yard the other day and remembered the old Red Cross building that was down there.
Yeah.
Did you ever go into that building?
Because I believe I was a founding member, but I've forgotten.
Ah, all right. So you were founder member of what is
I
today.
think it was about. It started about.
The Phoenix.
Must have started about 55. Or something.
Right.
I had to give it up because Mrs. Baker. I'm going to not put this down. She was very strict, and she said, "Now I want all you girls to help at Minehead Hospital at night."
Oh gosh.
Voluntary.
At
I
night.
can't do that. I
No.
said. She said, "Why not?" And I said, "Well, what do I do with my 3 kids?"
Yes.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Oh, so I had to. That's why I joined the Brownies.
Oh yes. What was a clever term they gave you? Because you were a big name in the Brownies, weren't you?
Brown owl.
Is it Brown Owl
That
or?
was about after one. Mrs. Trunks was. You know John Trunks?
No, I don't.
He comes to the Phoenix still to help, and his mother was the brown owl, and I went down with Rachel one night because it was pouring with rain, and I said to Mrs. Trunks, "Do you mind if I stay? Because if I've got to walk all up Brendan Road again, because I lived up by Nigel Swinburne, up there, and I said, I'm going to get wet through twice. So I'll have to come back from it." She said, "I wish you would stay. You couldn't stay a bit longer, could you?" Because she said, "I'm expecting again.
Oh.
I want to give it up." So I stayed.
And then you
So
got
that's-
involved in
So
taking
that's how
over, I
yeah,
expect.
eventually, you know, you had to do the training because everybody has to do that.
Yeah.
But I used to love it. I think all the Brownies I believe there may be one working in the co-op, but I haven't dared ask her if she was.
Why not?
I've got a feeling one of them is in there. There was a little family of them up from Woodland Road somewhere, and I've got a feeling there is.
There's still a reasonable sized pack now, isn't there?
There are 2, because you see,
2.
after we'd been here about 4 or 5 years, do you remember Mrs. Brown, Mrs. Grace Brown?
We came in
Yes,
2004.
Grace, yeah.
Well, I've heard the name, I think.
Yes, she
Yes.
came to the Methodist, didn't she?
Yes.
She lived in Livermore.
Now, she was the tawny owl.
No, was she? She lived on the corner of, by the squirrels.
That's right,
Yeah.
by Betty and...
Yeah.
And she
Yeah, nice
was,
little lady. Very nice little
Yeah,
lady.
she's gone up to Cheltenham.
Yeah, yeah.
No, Tukes,
Somewhere up round there, yeah.
because she's 90 now.
Mm.
Yeah.
Anyway, she said we need a new pack. There's a great big waiting list. So I said, all right, we'll see if we can get one. So we organised how many we got on the waiting list, and we had to get permission from the guides because they won't let you do anything in it. And eventually they let us start a new one. And I thought Mrs. Brown would take the new one over because she'd suggested it. You'll do that, she said. I wasn't very pleased about that.
All right.
Well, you went all right in the end.
See, a lot of the younger generation must know you for what you did there. Yeah.
I don't know, I can't think anybody remembers.
Would you like to...
Christine Rendell remembers because she was the Brownie, she was the guide helper in the Brownies. Because do you know Ron Rendell, who the bowler?
Might know him by sight.
Well, I think Christine, they live up really close.
Oh, yes.
16, I think.
not-
Next to Darren Scott, somewhere.
Oh,
yeah,
right,
Darren,
the
of course,
postman, yeah, yeah.
And she lives up there. And she was my Brownie guider. You have a Brownie guider.
Mm.
And so, she was absolutely wonderful. Oh, she was ever so loyal.
Mm.
Great.
Yeah. Well, can we break off from reminiscing and hear one of your
Which
choices?
one do you want?
Well,
do you,
what is-
do you want one about Fred? I've got one about Fred.
Who is Fred?
Fred is the bagpiper.
Oh, yes, please. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Fred.
I
Yeah,
did
we like.
that one
Well,
last
I've-
week.
I've
There's
featured-
two about Fred.
I featured one in my recent video, so you can see video of Fred in action.
The one last week I did about Fred, that was the Broadbrecht Watchet, but there's another one I've written since. I didn't realise I'd done one.
Right, well, this would be
Can we get
very...
a bit closer, Mike?
No, I'm really zoomed in.
Quite vague.
I'm really close.
So which one shall I do?
Which do you prefer, the older one first?
I prefer the one I did down at the
Right.
last week.
Right, we're all
It's
agog.
called Our Watchet Piper.
Good.
Here's Fred, a Broadbrecht Watchet lad, clad in his warmest Scottish plaid, with kilter swinging round his knees, adorned with sporran. Draw to please.
Well, a Scottish spur.
bonnet on his head, at saucy angle, sure to lead down to the far west pier's end. Fred surely sets a Scottish trend. He marches smartly, music playing. The pipes are whirling, we're all saying. Freed from his military position. Oh no, Fred. I better start that again. He marches smartly, music playing. The pipes are swirling. We are all saying Fred, with his military precision, is bagpiping with much decision. Soon, wailing starts a gentle mood. These Scottish tunes are never crude. The Road to the Isles he's playing now, and Fred makes such a lovely row. Visitors smiling with delight, their toes are tapping left and right. A sword dance is the next to ring, and after that a Highland fling. Too soon Fred's used up all his puff. His concert's never long enough, so Fred returns to Market Street and plays at last Beat the Retreat. Our thanks are due to Fred this day, he set the scene for Scotland gay. We wait the day he'll pipe some more, it's Scottish Fred we all adore.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that
Yes.
one.
Did you see his portrait now is in the Seascape Gallery in the Mineral Yard?
Yes, he's there. Isn't
Yeah, it's good, that.
he? It's good, isn't he good, that artist?
Yes, luckily he's a neighbour of ours, so I know him.
Yes.
Yes. Pat
What
Dennis.
is it? I bought one. I bought a print at the art exhibition last week of his, and I'm going to send it out to Thailand.
Oh, right. Oh, well.
It's Watchet Harbour,
Yeah.
and it's really good. It's a print. It's not a because it's the big one I liked was £300.
Yeah.
This one's about Dave Milton.
This is our town crier.
Oh, town crier. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
good.
He is good. He sings well, shanties.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you see him in the boat museum the other day?
No, she
I
couldn't
did.
make it. She was
Oh,
poorly.
you did?
Yes, he went.
Oh yes, you were there, weren't you? Of course you were. Yeah, sorry.
Good.
I didn't go.
It was the Angie Hardy one you didn't go to, wasn't
No,
it?
I didn't come to that because I don't know why. I
That was
didn't.
good.
Right, here's all
This
about...
one's called. I did write a smaller one about Dave, and then I thought, well, he worked very hard at it, so it's called Creation. The boy in the blue shirt, the blue T-shirt, walked alone on the beach. He found the alabaster on the cliff near Warren Bay. It was different, sometimes creamy, sometimes crystal clear, with blue striated strips and patches. It wasn't smooth, and not hard and cold like marble. It seemed more human, a little humble and malleable. Well, he thought so anyway. The colour amazed him and took control of his mind. He hammered some of the material out of the cliff, taking care not to take too much. Then he shaped it, first in his imagination, fearful to attempt to work the stone. His confidence grew slowly, though he scarcely realised he possessed the skill. The carving came gradually to life. He took his time, there seemed no hurry, and still he worked, carving carefully this strange, workable material. Chipping and chiselling gently, he worked on, and gradually a crude shape in his hand became a lively mounting wave. He'd always loved the sea in all its many moods. The boy in the blue shirt had carved the virgin stone into a real work of art. Now others may share his joy in the thrill of creation and life. No,
Right.
That
Is
one
that-
was a bit more serious.
Yes, was that about a specific creation that he made?
Yeah,
Or?
Rachel's got the mounting wave. She bought it from him when he was doing the
You don't
ones in the street at the back. You know, when he did the.
Oh, yes, behind the, behind the old Information Bureau.
Mounting stone. So that's really.
Oh, so how big a thing is that? How big?
It's not very big. It's about that, but
Oh,
I
right.
think it's probably one of the first he ever did
Right.
because it. I mean,
And Rachel's got it, has she, do you
Yeah.
say?
there are lots of others much bigger and more complicated. He really works hard, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's clever, I
Yes,
think.
he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he isn't he doesn't push himself that
No,
way, does
No, no.
No, he doesn't. He's very humble, isn't
he?
he?
Yes.
Mm.
Now
Oh.
I'll do that one last because now this one I like because I like this one
What's this
because
about?
it's about angels and I believe in angels. I reckon you
I've
do.
heard you say this one.
Have you?
Yes, you've done it before, haven't you?
I think I probably have.
Yeah, go look forward to this.
Well, I like this one because I do believe in angels. I reckon you meet them in Swain Street often, and the next day they might be demons. They're not always angels.
No.
So I started in Hereford, this one, but it was when I was going shopping one morning. I looked down at my feet. I found them just before Christmas, beneath my feet, my long, untidy feet, as I waited for the bus to town. Wings lay there in Whitehorse Street. They were tiny and no doubt belonged to a very young angel. Roughly folded, they were soiled and lay in a brownish puddle. I wondered if he'd missed them yet and why he had taken them off. They can't have been too heavy, even for a small angel. Well, perhaps he needed anonymity without wings to hinder. Angels are not always tolerated in this harsh world. He had completed his official duty, so why not discard the evidence? When I came back from town, I looked again for the wings, but they had gone. I hoped he had found them and flown home happily. Angels may be lost without wings. I met a man today in Swain Street who said he was an angel. He said he'd left his halo at home because it drew attention to his presence indiscreetly. He wasn't wearing wings either. Perhaps he only works part-time.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yes.
Good.
Well, I like that one.
Yeah.
I can tell you who the man was too, but
So do you think there's good angels and not so good angels then?
He was. He at the time was looking after his wife who's just died, so I don't want to tell you. Who it
Right.
is.
Oh, right.
But he exuded all the qualities of an angel, did he?
He had. He looked after her ever so well. She was completely incapable of doing anything.
Awful. Because your husband ended up that way, didn't he?
My husband had Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
So it's a bit different.
Mm.
That I think. People say it's worse for the lookers after, but I'm not sure if I believe them.
Mm.
Because if you see fear in your husband's eyes that you've never seen before, there must be suffering, mustn't there?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But he had it for about 14 years, I think. He only had the last month or two in hospital, and they were absolutely wonderful with him. He went to a private home in Hereford first, which was absolutely awful.
Mm.
And I said to the specialist, I can't leave him there, he's got to come home. And he said, he can't, you can't manage him. So I said, well, he isn't staying there. So he said, well, there's only one other place he can go. In those days, there was a big mental home in Hereford. And I said, well, can I go and look at it? And he said, yes. So I went with the nurse, the psychiatric nurse, and she said, I'll take you to the worst ward first, because it's downstairs while they're doing up the better one. And I thought, well, this is a bit grim, it's down in the basement. But I watched the nurses. She didn't say who I was. She didn't say whether I was looking for a place. And
No, that was good.
they didn't ask any questions. They just went and got us a cup of tea. And I watched them nursing, and I thought, I can't wait for Ron to come here.
It was a good place. And what was that called then?
That was just Hereford Mental Hospital.
Goodness.
They closed it 6 months after Ron died. They closed them all, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because they closed Tone Vale, didn't they?
Yeah, there was one just outside of Bristol as well.
Yeah. It was awful.
Yeah, that's not so good. So,
I never went to one, so I don't really know what they were like.
It was a great big place. There was a big hall where people could have concerts. There was a stage. They could do plays. They played cricket. They played football. They played rugby and tennis and all those things. I mean, Ron couldn't do it, but
No.
people could. And the nursing there was first class.
That's good.
that's good. Right, cheer us up with another poem then.
Well, what shall I do next? Now, do you want a serious one or a silly one?
Let's have a silly
one
one,
would be
just to
all
break up the
I'll go for
tension.
a silly one. There's loads of them.
I'm surprised how many you've got there.
Hundreds.
When did you first start writing these poems?
I don't know.
Long time ago.
Rachel writes lovely poems.
Does she?
Yes.
Oh, well.
Much better than me.
Well, well.
Those are very much shorter.
Right.
And modern, you know what I mean? Oh, do you want the one about my son-in-law?
Yes, please.
Yes, that was good.
Because he's
anyway.
well known, isn't he?
Well,
He's
there's
a-
the man in the next bed, that's funny.
Oh,
too.
yeah, that's good.
Let's hear about the head of the West Somerset Railway, because a lot of viewers are keen on the West Somerset Railway.
I haven't got anything about the West Somerset Railway.
Well, your son-in-law is a big name in the West Somerset Railway.
Rachel would say something about that.
Probably.
Well, this is Just Ask My Son-in-Law.
Right.
Because this is the one I wrote for last week.
Yeah.
Some people don't know anything. It seems their minds are blank on it.
Yours isn't.
They ought to ask my son-in-law.
Right.
He'll put them right on track.
Yeah, well, that's suitable, isn't it, for a railway man?
He's good at that. He'll give them scientific facts
Right.
that they might need to know, and what our MP doesn't know about this world of woe. That's quite a lot.
Oh, dear. Yes, we won't mention him.
There's sports and hobbies and a lot of ancient history too. My son-in-law knows all the trends of modern life, that's true. He can talk about the weather and knows when snow may come. And when it's freezing cold enough, he'll share a tot of rum. He's good at mathematics too, those A's and B's and X, Y, Z's, and what's the time in Africa when it's time we were in bed. And at day-by-day eventing, he'll come into his prime. He'll know the day the cuckoo comes and when 'tis cider time. So if there's anything you need to know, just sit down by his side and gaze into his knowing eyes. Just let him be your guide. He'll help you with most subjects. Just let John lend a hand, for as you know, I think I've got the best son-in-law in the land.
No, what a compliment,
Somebody
eh?
said, how much did we pay me for that? And this one's rude.
All right.
All
All
right.
right.
Let's readjust the balance, shall we then?
It was also written in Hereford. I went into a mixed ward at 11 o'clock one night and they dumped me. They're not allowed now, are they? But they were. And it's plummeted. It's called The Man in the Next Bed. He was ever so nice, much nicer than you'd think from the poem. He was really very strict.
Was he?
But he was waiting for a very heavy operation and he was having nightmares.
Oh, yes.
So anyway, it's called The Man in the Next Bed. Plummeted at 11 p.m. into a darkened ward. I've been there all day on the trolleys, you know, waiting. I gazed with consternation, dismay really. It was such an unexpected sight. About 16 beds, well that's okay, but they seemed to be full of men. Where were the women? There was only one other beside me. But strangely, I soon felt at ease in a macho of jockey pants and hairy chests. The night stretched as far as it dared, and dawn seemed unwilling to break. The man in the next bed snored gently, speaking firmly, though without rancour. "Piss off," he pronounced, and snored again. It cheered the night away. Grey dawn, still no sun, rain pouring, nurses stirred with conversation, the morning tea, thermometers and blood pressure at the ready. Snores still staccatoed, a lively symphony. "Bollocks," said the man in the next bed. Not as a challenge, just a gentle observation. And you know, he was worried about the operation he was going to have.
Yeah.
It was a heart transplant. I don't know whether he ever had it, because I wasn't in there.
Was he aware of that, what he was saying, or was he just dreaming and saying things in his sleep?
I don't know.
I expect he was frightened. That was.
I think when his wife used to come and see him every day from Wales, 50 or 60 miles, her son, and she said to me when she came in, he doesn't want this operation because he said it's awful to have somebody die for him, you see, because he had
right.
Transplant.
it was a transplant.
Yeah.
So I said, "Well, you want him home, don't you?" "Well, of course we do," she said. But he's upset. So I thought, well, I'll have a go at this one. So I sat on his bed one day and nattered to him, poor man. And I got it out of him that he was worried about this. And I said, "Well, your wife wants you home, and so does your son." So I said, the person that you'll be having it from would have died anyway.
That's right, and they would be pleased that it was being useful.
Anyway, I wrote this poem for him and gave it to him, said it made him laugh. And I said, "Don't show your wife because she might be shocked." They were the sort of people that wouldn't have ever used that sort of language.
No.
Normally, no.
So much more precise than me. And so I said, "Don't show her." But he did show his wife, and she came and sat on my bed that night. And she said, "I think you've done it. He's going to have the op now. He's stopped fussing."
Good.
Right.
So,
And I trust it was successful?
I don't know. I left
right.
before then. You see, he was still there.
Yeah.
Now there's one about music, 2 or 3 about music.
Music, yeah, I've heard one. I don't think I've heard one on music one.
Well, this one I like, but you may not. It really is only just a sort of collection of, and it's called Autumn Music.
Okay.
A song of September swans, winging in slow and steady flight, carolling towards their winter feeding grounds. I've done this in little short verses.
Okay.
Wearily, the willows bend sedately in a wind, creating a low largo of lamentation down by the still canal. Hop wires, taut as plucked strings, stripped by the harvesters, make sad seasonal song. The hop dryer hums steadily, by day and night, an industrious sonata. Berries overrun the hedgerow, shouting a loud chorus of riotous colour. Apple tractors with pyramids of yellowing fruit trundle down the lanes, anticipating that celebration of cheerful cider song. Seed heads rattle in a quiet breeze, creating offbeat rhythms in the dry rustling grasses. There's a lot of this. A staccato of rooks converse warily. Swallows chuckle together tentatively, planning their long journey south. Sparrows wheel in the hawthorns, drop to the furrowed field with frenzied fluting, gathering the last seeds of summer. Leaves fall in the dry cadenza, almost inaudible, muted by the dying sap. Low dies the evening sun, while pan pipes of pale straw whistle softly at the field's edge. A crescendo of almost gale-like wind gathers force in the early evening, and frozen rain clatters on the shed roof with orchestral anger. As darkness falls, the shrill chanting of children circling their Guy Fawkes blaze completes this autumn song. Listen.
Very good.
Right. Do you want another funny one?
Okay.
If I can find one. There's one's about Alzheimer's.
You can make that funny?
They're not funny.
No, that's not
But
here.
they're
Yeah,
not.
I think it might be useful, mightn't it, for people who...
Why?
There's one about Big Issue, selling Big
Oh,
Issue.
yes.
There's the Music of the Wind, which goes on a bit long. There's one about time. Oh, there's this one about... This one is about Alzheimer's, but it's not
Okay.
too bad.
Right.
It's called Music.
Because we've got someone in our family whose husband died with it, so we know what it's involved.
Well, this is only ever so short. And it's called Music. We listen because we're both fond of music. We listened to Richard Strauss when we were young, till Eulenspiegel's pranks and Don Juan's machinations. It was musically exciting. Listening again today, how would they seem 50 years on? I noticed nuance not there before and wondered if he did too, and plaintive harmonies. A glance at his chair was enough. The music had lulled him to sleep. Now I shall never know if the music moved him differently 50 years on. He woke suddenly and spoke gently, his eyes searching my face without recognition. Will you be coming to live here soon, he asked, 50 years on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they filmed Tom Jones here?
No, did they?
And Mr. Boots was in the cast. PC, you know, Jones' husband. Do you remember PC Boots?
No.
Oh,
We've
he
only
was-
been here 12 years.
He was a lovely policeman. Stephen was very friendly with his son. They were always in trouble with him because it was in Mr. Peel's days, you know, the cinema man? The man that had the cinema that was.
The Ritz.
And he used to drive that car at all of 2 miles an hour in Watchet because he was old. And Stephen and Malcolm Boots used to go and knock on the car roof and say, did he need any help? And he reported them to the police
Oh, right.
that they were bothering him.
Oh, dear.
And Mr. Boots said, now look here, I've had to tell my son off, now I'm going to tell you. Anyway, this was when they were filming Tom Jones. I
What do
think
you mean
it
by
was
filming? Not
The-
not the real, not the proper...
a real film.
Well, the one with
And Nettlecombe Court. Tom Jones it was called.
Yeah.
Humidity hung over the small farm, couched in the deep valley of the Brendans. The evening was still and quiet after a heavy day's harvesting. Oh, it's called heavy water, by the way. I don't know.
Right.
The cider we drank was last year's. Like the humidity, it was loaded with syrupy sediment, definitely not for beginners. Thankful for a nearby aspidistra, I used my cider as a fertiliser. I can only hope it wasn't as lethal as I suspected. My young son drank 2 full tumblers
Wow.
before I noticed. He was thirsty, and on the way home he became boisterously joyful. His initiation to the demon drink. He sang wildly, waving at everyone, leaning precariously out of the car. It wasn't our car. School friends retreated passionately. Home at last, he fell deeply asleep. I'll say this for the deadly brew. It was neither hallucinatory nor addictive. No hangovers, though the day ended with a thunderstorm. I was glad his father didn't know. I would have been really cross with him.
Where was his father then?
I don't know, out at some meeting.
Oh,
He used to do the accounts for the scouts.
oh right, yeah. He was a banker, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Right.
He was out some. This one's called Sudden Realisation. It's about it's really about falling in love.
Good stuff.
It was when you sat down at the piano that realisation suddenly dawned. I don't know what I expected. Your fingers took control of the instrument. You knew exactly what you were doing. All of life and creation were there at your fingertips. The sound and wonder enveloped us all. We were drawn into that wonder, the rhythm and power of the music which flowed from your fingers. Melody was subtle. We listened, entranced. Your hands, such ordinary, capable hands, created beautiful music. And looking at your practical, strong hands while I listened, suddenly a new realisation surprised me. not just your musical skill, but the magnetism of your whole being. I was now aware of you as a personality and how much you actually meant to me.
Oh, there now.
And that was sort of when he came to play the piano at home. And I met him first when I was 13 and he was 24. He came to work in the bank with my father. And then he went that was 1939, and he went straight into the army because he'd volunteered. So he was only with Dad about 3 or 4 months. And then I didn't see him again till 46.
How did you come to meet him then?
We came back to the bank, you see, after he was...
Oh, the same bank, yeah. And you were, yeah.
This one's called Second Thoughts. And I reckon even great-grandparents have these second thoughts. It's called Bathing My Youngest Great-Grandson, Soft, Supple, Warm and Lively. I'm reminded of earlier bliss, recalling tender, shared passion, but no longer with youthful urgency. An age ago it seems, that mutual ecstasy, but the touch of young life brings recollection and reassurance of the continuing cycle of love. Confirming that celebration, unrepentant, pleasurable sensuality persists, even in the absence of reality, prodding a memory of warmth and joy and that urgent appeal of soft flesh. So one still gets the... Do you want one about staple clay?
Yeah.
Yes, I love it up there.
Well, staple clay, it's...
You've got so many good things here, haven't you?
Well, some of them are all right, and some of them are awful. Rachel says I go on too long.
Oh.
This was one, in a way, when you go to poetry evenings, they give you a subject. But they didn't on this time. I made a little list of a few words from the first chapter of The Return of the Native by Thomas Hardy. I don't know why, The Return.
Did you go to poetry, like night school thing? Did you?
I go to the Pebbles once a month at the Pebbles with Glynis from the corner.
Yeah.
Glynis writes some good stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, how did
She
you get...
wrote the one of the A to Z about Watchet.
Oh, yes, that's right.
She was good.
Yeah.
And she runs these.
Yes, that was good. She read that the other day, didn't she? It was good.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
And then we have the John, what was his name? Not John Garland,
No, I don't know his name. I didn't know him before. He was good.
Yes, he was good. But he writes differently from me. I have to listen to him. Well, this is one. The words I found in the first chapter were embrowned, twilight sombre, frowning wind, storm embracing and oppressive. So I thought, well, it's not going to be a summer one. We were out on Staple Plain in late November. The Quantock Range was embrowned with last season's heather. Low on the rising ground, on those sombre acres, the heather clung for life to the wild hillside. Now the frowning weather deepened, making walking difficult. We tripped over unseen stones as the afternoon's dull light drifted into a darkening twilight. Then, from the distant Severn Sea, came a strong, oppressive rustle, almost like approaching rain. Not till it curved around us, as rain seldom does, as rain has a diagonal thrust, did I realise it was a sea wind from down channel westward, which fetched up sharply on my cheek as if someone had slapped me hard. There was a taste of sea and salt in my mouth as we turned for home. The November storm was everywhere, all around us as the wind strengthened. Now the daylight was almost done. No longer could we see the low brown heather, nor the outline of the plain's high ridge. All our world seemed involved in the embracing grip of the gale. Time to leave the November wildness.
I've never been up there in the winter, but I love going up there in the nice sunny weather.
And this one's about time.
Okay.
And it's called Time Out. This must have been another one we were given as a subject. We give you subjects, you see. You can sometimes do them. You know, I'll finish with one we had last week.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, in our blissful ignorance, time didn't exist. But as soon as someone carelessly invented it and worked out how to measure it, time became inexorable. Stop your own clock and somebody else's ticks on dully. Seconds click by, just audible, marching around the clock face, pacing away your life. Every now and again you stumble over the fact that you can't go back. Life's joyful moments can't be re-experienced. They're only memories now. The best thing anyone could do would be to reinvent the no time factor. Please stop the clock now. I need to jump off before those padding seconds catch up with me. It's life and not time I want to enjoy.
That's very good, actually.
Rachel didn't like that one.
Oh.
Who didn't?
Rachel.
Why not?
Well, she didn't. There's Leaving the Dance. That's about autumn leaves again. And it's sort of funny. You want that one?
Sure.
Could be leafing. Could be called Leafing the Dance when you heard it. You'll see why. We dance as we leave our autumn stage torn off the trees. Our flamboyant colour belies that late summer dryness. We are almost ready to return to the earth's chill embrace, but not quite. First we must execute a final flirtatious fling of frivolity. We flutter from the branches lazily at first. Then as the wind gathers strength we dance a fandango, Spanish rhythm, a sassy samba, a stately tango and a rumba more rollicking than reality. We're not going to die easily and without a fight, and we want to be adored until the last moment with brilliant intensity of colour and choreographic dexterity. Our final autumn extravaganza culminates with a powerful paso doble as the gale gathers force, gathering our colour downwards into the earth's darkness. The dramatic dance ends with winter's chill. That's another Alzheimer's one. No?
No.
No. The music of the wind I think would take too long.
Right.
I've done that one.
Do you think like a cup of tea?
I will in a minute.
Yes.
Oh, that's a shame.
Each night, this is one about the wild geese. You know the wild geese?
Yes,
story?
they fly by us, don't they, quite
Watchet.
regularly?
Each night and morning, the wild geese flew in skeins across the dark beach, or in V formation across the hill behind the railway line. Whatever the weather, noisily against a clouded blue sky, never silent, even in the teeth of the Saturday storm and rain. Where were they going? Was there a purpose in their clamorous flight? Or did they simply enjoy the excitement of being alive in the wildness of October? I'm not going to read that one.
Yes, they fly by
That's
our
the
house
one
quite
about-
regularly.
That's the one about the locum.
Oh,
You
right.
can have a look at it if you like. Afterwards. You don't want the Gobi Desert, do you?
Don't think anyone watching would know much about the Gobi Desert.
Well, I want to go there.
Do you?
Nobody wants to go with me.
Oh,
I want to see the Bactrian camels.
all right.
Oh, you read that then.
I was watching a programme by Michael Palin the other night where he was going across the desert
Oh,
in with a group of Arabs and living off all the animals as they went.
oh well, this one, this is just a silly one, really. It
Oh.
rhymes. If my poems rhyme, you can reckon they're definitely going to be silly.
Yeah.
Now then, there's Colin said bats in the belfry. Do you want? It's a bit long, but it won't take long to read.
Right.
Now, Colin was the man who painted my house in Hereford before I came down. And Colin went to chapel with me, actually. He was a nice bloke. And he was up on the roof one day, and I was down in the garden hanging out the washing. And he said, Colin says, it's called Colin says, you've got bats in your belfry.
Oh, I've heard this one before. Go on, carry
Have you
on.
heard this
It's
one?
good. Yes, carry on.
He's entitled to stick to that view, for others have thought it quite often, and many have said that it's true. I think it is. Colin says there's droppings to prove it by the flashing out on the roof. I'm sure he is right. There are droppings in sight, so you can't get much nearer the truth. Colin says a bat is protected. I say, I know that's right. So what do we do about the invasion? They'll put up a vigorous fight. Colin says they don't do any damage. At least he doesn't think so. I think I agree. They are harmless, but careless with droppings. Colin says, OK, let's leave them to live there. We'll leave them in peace in that case. It's no good to chivvy or harass them. Let's leave them to settle the space. Colin says he's sorry about them, but he didn't foresee they would roam so far from the church they were born in, set up in my ancestral home. Colin says, we're nearly there, that he knows that the bats will fly off if they don't feel devotion. They sense if a person don't love them, and they try to respect that emotion. So, Colin says at last, there are bats in my roof space, and I know that's as true as can be. Upside down in my loft they'll be happy. Raise a family and bring them up free.
Lovely.
I think I'm nearly there.
Yeah.
You don't want the one about my... Oh, do you want Llewellyn the Great?
Who's he?
Ooh.
That was a Welsh prince, wasn't it?
A Welsh prince.
Yes.
It's not very much about him. He had his head chopped off.
Mm.
And I always wanted to go to Abbey Cum here, and Stephen went to, my son, the one in Thailand, went to Aberystwyth Agricultural College, because that's what he did before he went out to
Thailand. Mm-hmm.
And we used to go and fetch him home and take him back. And Abbey Cum here was a little village on the way. I could never get Ron to go there, because I knew it. That's where Llewellyn the Great was buried without his head. His head was stuck on up in London on a pike, you know. He was hang drawn and quartered. Anyway, it's ever so short. Amid the crumbling abbey ruin, he wouldn't go, Ron, I mean. He just would not go. But I went years after, and it was an interesting valley. It was, there was the remains of the monastery there that received him, you know. Anyway, it goes, amid the crumbling abbey ruins, the last indication of earlier industry, the headless body lies at rest in the soft green valley. Over all, the rounded mountains brood, and passionate pilgrims linger, hoping even now for a national resurgence, whilst peacocks scream incessantly. Their strident cries echo the anguish of the waiting pilgrims, but there's no response to their longing. The village sleeps on in the sun. Careless of national yearning for the return of their Welsh prince, though conscious of its inherited treasure, the village waits for a quieter rebirth. Fulfilling my own pilgrimage, I found a deeply enduring peace. Why stir the sleeping dragon now? Leave him as a guardian of that green and peaceful valley. He's still there.
Did he marry some girl who had a big influence in that part of the world?
I think he did.
Yeah, I've forgotten her name now.
They were all wealthy, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's about the wind. I don't know about the wind. And living up here, that's a long one. I've done that one. We're nearly there.
Right.
Okay.
I think we're very nearly there. And do you want the one about my grandson and my husband?
Yeah.
It sort of compares the two.
Right.
It's to a young grandson who is now 39.
39.
Who just got married himself.
What's his name?
Stephen.
Another Stephen.
Another Stephen.
Right.
He got married in April and they've just come back. We had their dog. Do you remember Rachel was one with the little dog? Well, that was their dog.
Oh, right.
They were married in April, but they didn't go for their honeymoon until they came back last Sunday.
Oh, right.
They went to Hong Kong, Bali, and the orangutan place.
Gosh.
Borneo.
Uh-huh.
the dog was glad to see them back. Well, this one, he's 39 now, and Bernadette must be 34ish. I think she's a teacher. She's a nice girl, very Irish. And anyway, I remember sort of thinking there were similarities between my husband and he was my first grandson, you see, Stephen, because Michael that's here now, he's about 35, I think, he might be 36. Just occasionally, when you really look at me, I see more than your eyes. Deep in the wide open blue, I see a need for comfort and understanding. The questing, the candour, and that small flicker pass fleetingly. Looking into your eyes when you're still enough, I see the warring factions, resistance, impatient, frustration, mutiny. Even in your moments of tranquility, restlessness intrudes. Questioning unceasingly, never still, demanding attention and compassion, very like the sea in colour, mood and movement. This is the second part about my husband. Looking into your eyes steadily, you still guarding that treasured solitude, so much desired and beloved, though less restless in body, your mind is no less questing. Just occasionally when you really look at me, I see that same small anxious flicker and some uncertainty, no less need for comfort and understanding. Experience and learned patience have tempered mutiny into tolerance, but the restless mind still spills over into frustration, and your eyes show that same depth of wide open blue, undimmed, unfathomable, restive, very like the sea in colour, mood and movement. Shall I finish with, if I can find it, a very short one. If I can find it, it's here somewhere. It is called, it might be there. No, that's red.
Your grandson that's just got married, Stephen, said.
He's a nice boy.
39. Whose child is he?
Rachel's.
Rachel's.
Catherine's got two. She's only got one son. She married someone who'd been married before.
Who did?
My second daughter, Catherine.
Oh,
she
right.
was the one that was born at Minehead.
Right.
I'm looking for the last one, if I can find it.
Where does Catherine live?
She lives in Bromsgrove.
Bromsgrove? No, Worcestershire.
That's right.
Look at all these poems. Goodness
I'm
me.
going to find it. It's there.
Hooray.
It's ever so short.
Right, good.
It's called, this is one that we had given us for a subject, and I thought, what the hell am I going to write about? And it's
right.
called Betrayal. Help! I can just see them coming down the garden path. So I'll escape to the shed at the back, and they'll think I'm out. Last they've got that dratted dog with them. It's excitedly sniffing at the shed door, so they'll know I'm here. Oh, how delightful to see you all. You come in and I'll put the kettle on for tea. So that's what I'm going to do now.
Oh, right. Oh, thank you. That's really classic, that is. I thought, how can we persuade you to find enough material, but it's how do we stay you to...
I've got some more. There's this, you see.
you got more.
There's
Wow,
this.
we've got a book as well.
Is that a book of your poems, is it?
Yeah, well, these are all the one handwritten.
Oh,
some of them
right.
I can hardly read, and some there are a lot of Alzheimer's ones in there. So I found it kept me sane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know where it kept me sane.
When did you actually start writing poems then? When you were young, like at school, did you? Were you quite good at English?
No, I was good at English.
Yeah, I quite liked English.
I was hopeless at math.
Yeah, and me. I hated maths.
Yeah. Oh, I was really dreadful. And there's a terrible one about...
With having so many bank managers in the family too.
Have you got bank managers? In
No,
the bank?
you know, that you weren't good at maths and yet you had a
Well,
bank.
he wasn't very good.
Your
at maths
father
either.
was a bank manager, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, he was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But he wasn't very good at maths either. But they both like people.
Oh, I see,
Well, so
right.
do I, you see.
Yeah, well, they must have had some interest in maths, though, mustn't they, to work in a bank?
Well, I mean, I suppose they got their O levels. I don't think any of them got A levels. You see, Ron left school in 1934 when, as you know what work was like. Well, you probably don't. I don't know how old you are.
He was born in 1939.
Well, I was 13 then.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I was born not far from where you were born, too. You were born in Saltash,
Yeah.
and I was in Ford in Plymouth, just across the water.
Well, I went over to Plymouth when we left Saltash.
Yeah.
We went to Manamee.
Yep, yep.
I think it was a new housing estate there.
Yes.
Because it went up to that.
I can remember the
at the
name. Oh,
top.
Manamee, that's where the New Plymouth is, up there, yes.
There was a park at the top which had a sort of a reservoir in it.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a little shop up there that sold ice cream, so I loved going up there. But Torrington is my second favourite place. Watchet's my favourite, always was. But I was very happy at Torrington because that was full of wildflowers, and Mum was very keen. I must put this kettle on. It's the wrong kettle.
Anyway, thank you very much, Pat. It was really a real pleasure to listen
Did
to
it
that.
work?
Yeah.
Yes, very well.
There's nothing I'm going to edit.
Let me clear it. You see, we can fix it with the